Welcome back, Anxious Gamers. We got some news for you all this week. We are your hosts. I'm Kris.
And I'm Josh.
Jim Ryan. He quit. He's done. He says he's retired, but I don't know.
He was tired of living in Europe and working in North America. Understandable. The weird part, though, is that he quit at the height of the PS5 sales. Right as PS5 is passing PS2 to be the most well-sold PlayStation console in history.
Yeah, he's getting out in time. He's wanting to bail because of the PlayStation Portal. That's why he's wanting to get out.
He's like, that was a terrible decision. I'm gone before the backlash
not brave
happens.
like Reggie. Reggie stayed through the Wii U. Come on,
and
Jim.
Didn't the president of Nintendo Japan even take a pay cut after that?
That was the DS. There was something with the DS.
I really thought it was the Wii U.
It may have been the Wii U. Let us know in the comments.
It was something like he was, they were disappointed in the sales of it, even though Nintendo, I don't know if this statistic is still true, but it's something like they have so much cash they could operate for 100 years at a loss.
Yeah. Iwata, I was reading, it's in the Disrupting the Game, the Reggie book, but Iwata took a pay cut or a salary or a bonus and didn't take it so he could pay the employees of Nintendo, which is really cool, honestly, thinking of it.
It's also just crazy still. My late stage capitalism side's going to come out, but the fact that he can take a pay cut and pay the rest of the employees, it's just nuts.
You know what's really interesting, though, is PlayStation has shifted more towards the U.S., with dropping multiple Japan studios.
Yeah.
So it's very weird that... Did you say Jim Ryan was working in North America? Or no, working in Europe?
He lives in Europe.
Oh, he lives in Europe. Okay, that makes more sense now. Yeah. Okay,
but the majority of the company is North America.
Yeah.
And so he's operating probably 6 or 7 hours ahead, which means if he's working the same hours, he's working, like probably 10 in the morning, 9 in the morning until 7, 8 at night.
I totally get that. And I mean, hopefully we all get to a point where we can retire. I am curious, though. I feel like PlayStation is going to be just the ultimate American console. I grew up with Nintendo and PlayStation being Japanese consoles.
Right.
Which still, I feel the same with Nintendo. Nintendo is still very that traditional style, but PlayStation's definitely gravitated more towards the Call of Duty machine, the cinematic first-person
I don't know.
machine.
I still feel like Xbox is the Call of Duty machine for whatever reason. I think it's because
which is
of the
so
people
funny
that
because
play it.
PlayStation owned Call of Duty, and that's the whole
in the beginning. But
in the beginning, yes, the
Yeah.
360 definitely was the shooter box. That was the typical American way. Get you a American-made system that's going to crap out on you in a week. Built in the USA. The
Red Ring of Death.
I almost bought a PS5 last week.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What made you not pull the trigger?
I still don't feel like there are enough exclusives for me to get it.
So,
because I can play all of the games that I want to play on it still on my PS4.
Yeah.
And I do see some of the indie games. For example, one that I've been playing, Warhammer Bolt Gun, runs 30 FPS on Switch, but it runs 60 FPS on PS5. So I definitely see the difference there. But at the end of the day, there is one. This will be the next news topic. There is one game that potentially got leaked. It's supposed to get a big announcement October 5th, and that's Spyro 4. Mystery of the Dragon. Now, Spyro 4 has been rumored quite a bit, but it shows that it's only leaked for PS5, Series SX, and PC.
Interesting.
So, if that gets announced and there's no Switch version, I may get a PS5 for that game.
I thought you were going to say, because I didn't read the whole article, I just saw it before this, but there is a rumor that some promo image leaked for GTA 6. And two of the characters are wearing like Moon Club shirts or Moon Party or something like that. And there's a picture of a giant moon in the background. And we just had our last supermoon here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about to have the annular eclipse on October 14th. And it's the first or the last annular eclipse until like 2042 or something like that. Like it's a crazy long time between. So there's theories running around that GTA 6 is about to finally get maybe a release date or a new teaser trailer or something, like a big reveal. So
yeah. So I never played. Well, I played Vice City. I'm not a GTA player.
Really?
And never got into those games. But that's very exciting, though.
For everybody else that aren't weirdos.
I don't know. Something about like being a gangster just isn't my style. Sorry. Homies.
That's the... Well, okay, here's the thing about... Sorry, for all of you watching this one, this is a free form, this is just us chatting episode. We don't have a topic. We're just going to see where it takes us. The thing about Grand Theft Auto is generally all of the main characters are fairly, in some cases, most cases, fairly decent people that they find themselves in bad situations. I don't know, but GTA 3 not so much, and GTA Vice City a little iffy. But by the time they hit GTA 4, he was just an immigrant that was told he could get rich in America. He comes over with these big dreams and finds himself in the criminal underworld and just trying to survive in America, basically. GTA 5, you got Michael, who is a psychopath. But at the same time, he's kind of a terrible person. But you got Franklin, because there were three main characters. You've got Franklin, who kind of the same thing. Like he's in the ghetto. He's just trying to make it out. And he keeps ending up like sucked back into all this craziness.
You're a very sweet person caring about these people.
And then there's Trevor, who there's no
we all know if you're named Trevor. Sorry, Trevor's listening.
Yeah. No Trevor
Belmont
is a good guy. Yeah. Trevor really is genuinely a terrible person.
My sister dated a Trevor once. It didn't go well.
Yes. Well, was that the crackhead that stole your Switch?
He wasn't a crackhead. He was a cheater. This Trevor was a cheater.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't a beater, but a cheater.
Well, it's still pretty terrible. But it was kind of the same thing for Red Dead Redemption. Like they're outlaws, but you don't have to play in a way where you're necessarily messing with civilians.
I will say I played a little bit of Red Dead. Arthur is a classy man.
He's a classy man.
He's a very classy man.
Dutch.
Yeah, I have nothing against Grand Theft Auto. I'm not sitting here going, God, like it's such a bad game.
No, I think it's interesting.
In Vice City, I used to pick hoes up. Like that was my thing, and then I'd kill them and get my money back.
Oh my gosh.
That's and then I realized this game is not made for me.
I don't know. I enjoy those games because I have trouble playing the bad guy even in games. Mm-hmm. In games that give me the opportunity to just be an absolutely terrible person, I can't do it.
That is why I have a hard time going back to BioShock 1, because you beat the owner or the main character with a golf putter till he dies.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty rough.
I mean, I love that game. I love everything about BioShock. That's one of my spooky games I love to play. But at the end of the day, I mean, you hit him once and he's kind of like, oh. And then you hit, and then he's like actually losing consciousness and comes up to you. And it's just really dark.
I've really gotten into this new trend of games. Obviously, not all of them do this, but there are games out there that are starting to, where there's almost a way to play passively. So Undertale is a really good example of that. It's a lot harder to play it that way, but you don't have to kill a single enemy in that entire game. And then Baldur's Gate, there's a lot of situations you can get yourself out of just by talking, which is a lot of fun. Now, I don't know that you could completely have a pacifist run for that one, but you can try.
One of my students was telling me Subnautica was supposed to have guns, but they didn't do guns because of school shootings or something like that.
Yeah, well, I remember watching the developer diary or whatever. There was a YouTube episode on that. The most thing they have is the knife, is the most violent thing they have in that game. Despite all the fish trying to kill you, there are no guns.
It's really weird because I am one of those people that I don't care what video game you play as long as you are mentally stable or raised right kind of thing. But I do actually kind of have a hard time, even with Resident Evil recently, playing games with guns because of just everything going on. Now I have nothing against guns. I'm not saying, oh, take them all away, whatever. But it is, even though I haven't experienced a shooting or have had my child get killed in a school or anything, it is kind of a little bit of a shell shock, honestly, just hearing it or seeing it and seeing how much detail goes into guns with video games now is crazy, really. Because growing up, I mean, let's face it, the N64, PS1, you had guns, but it's nothing. It's not as realistic. Like, let's be real. And people can argue, boomer generation, well, Super Nintendo had guns and N64, they look so realistic and there was blood, but it's not the same.
Right. Yeah. Well, now you have games like Unrecord that are coming out. That's that body cam first person shooter. Yeah. That had the whole internet arguing over whether or not it was real footage. And
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now we're going to, before long, end up in an area where it does genuinely look so realistic. But then again, America is known for its violence. So,
I have nothing against certain ways of violence. I mean, I just finished.
What does that mean?
The next, huh?
What is that? It sounded weird. You have nothing against certain ways of violence.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a war game, it's a war game.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're playing a gory game or a zombie game, if I was in a predicament where all I had was a gun and there were 50 zombies coming to me, I'm not going to try to be friends with the zombies. I'm not going to avoid their attacks, and I'm going to beat the hell out of them.
I think it is a little different though when it's a creature versus people.
I do have a hard time playing games where you kill real people. I've always had that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Because Resident Evil 4, they're possessed.
Yeah. So one of the games that I've been playing is Payday 3.
Yeah.
So I try to do all of my missions stealth. Because inevitably, though, someone else is going to trip an alarm. Have you ever played any of the Payday games?
I haven't, but I've seen gameplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's on Game Pass. And I want to get together a crew that wants to do everything completely silent. Because, I mean, it's fun. I mean, the whole heist thing is kind of fun. Like, are you, smart and smooth enough to pull off a heist and, rob a bank or whatever? But as soon as somebody mess up, it's just wave after wave of SWAT and all these other cops, and you just mow them all down. It's like, this is kind of hard to play, honestly.
It is weird. The first time I felt like I played a real, obviously Call of Duty, but Call of Duty at the time, I just wanted to get online and shoot my friends. But then I started playing the story missions. I'm like, oh my God. But I'm like, it's okay. It's war. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, war is not okay.
Right?
But
You get
it
to
was,
You get to the airport mission in Modern Warfare 2.
dude, yeah.
No rushing.
I didn't shoot a single person. I just walked with my gun. I was like,
Right.
this is crazy. But it was the newer Tomb Raiders. I was like, I don't remember killing a bunch of people in Tomb Raider. Like, you would fight some main people, bosses, whatever. But I'm like, geez, I'm like stabbing these people, like killing them,
so
whatever.
It's the same thing with Uncharted. There's a big joke about just how many people Nathan Drake has killed. And it's one of those things that you just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
But, he's this, like, kind-hearted family man or whatever. But on his adventures, he kills, like, 700 people. Yeah. Like, these guys are just paid by some company to protect an area.
Yeah.
Some dude named Jim from Alabama that has, 7 siblings and all kinds of nieces and nephews. And this dude's just trying to make a paycheck, working for some mining corporation out in Peru. Yeah. And Nathan Drake comes out of nowhere and lobs a grenade into his lap.
But it's so funny. I'm over here like, I don't like killing people. But then I play Castlevania where you whip people to death. Moral of the story is we like all types of video games, and sometimes it is nice to play something where you're not shoot, cut.
Yeah,
but
that's where my Stardew Valley and all that comes in.
Yeah. But back to if Spyro is an exclusive, that
was such a huge detour to get back to Spyro. Okay, back to
that. Spyro would make me 90% close to getting a PS5 because here's the thing. Most of the Toys for Bob or Activision colorful kitty games or old school platformer games will eventually come to Switch. So that new Crash Team Rumble got leaked a few months ago. I can guarantee you that game's going to come to Switch probably first quarter of 2024. If that happens, and then let's say Spyro gets announced this month, I'm probably going to wait to see if Spyro 2 would be a Switch 2 game or just later on get ported over, because I really enjoy having those types of games on the Switch.
Yeah.
But yet again, the Reignited trilogy looks beautiful on all the systems, but it would look really, really good on a PS5.
Yeah, it would.
So, yeah. And if Hogwarts Legacy doesn't come to Switch like they said it would, then I'll for sure.
Yeah.
See, there are a few games like Mortal Kombat 1, obviously, like I played through the Switch version, which I know it'll get a patch, but it's not anytime soon. And my friend came over last Saturday and he was like, let's play Mortal Kombat 1. And I'm like, okay, you're coming from a PS5. Just wait till you see how bad this is. And we're sitting here and he goes, oh my God. He goes, dude, the loading isn't even an issue anymore, really, with PS5. He said, you still get some load screens, and I get it. I have a Series S, which I know it's not an X or a PS5, but Resident Evil 4 on my PS4 is like gonna blow up my PlayStation. But on the Series X, it's like boom, in the game, boom. You know, barely any load times. So, but yeah, he came down and was like, dude, he's like, I hope Spyro 4 never comes to Switch, just so you man up and get a PS5.
Yeah. I think it's one of my favorite consoles in a long time. I like the PS4, but it gathered dust after a while. The PS5, I'm still pretty consistent on. The Switch will get put to the side for a while, depending on what's out. There's just certain games that I want to play handheld, which I can now do with my PS5. So, especially once I get my PlayStation Portal.
Today's the day I leave.
The channel is over.
The channel is over. Yeah, I love the Switch for the convenience factor because I do play. So I did kind of a personal study this year. I play just as much on the TV as I do handheld. So
Interesting.
it's about the same. I just love the convenience of it still. And I don't know, there's just a lot of, I have a huge backlog I'm trying to get through with it as well. Because something that I've really tried to do this year is beat my games.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going back to that formula. So, I mean, I did 2 playthroughs of Resident Evil 4 Remake and the Separate Ways DLC. Tears of the Kingdom. I'm working through... what was I working through? I don't know. But I'm trying to get through stuff on there. So
Yeah. I did finish Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
That took a lot. That took a while. Mainly because if you don't think to save or take a long rest or magically hit an autosave zone, you can get into some random fight, die, and then have to redo the last like hour and a half, 2 hours.
So we have a Discord for you listeners. Link will be in the description. Josh uninstalled it.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Was it just where you fed up with it? Did you
No,
need
I was just
space?
like, I'm done. I've finished it, but I have something else to tell you. I uninstalled the whole thing. I was
And then
like,
you
oh,
reinstalled it.
and then I was sitting there and I was like, I don't know what to play. I was like, I can go play Sea of Stars. I played a little bit of Payday. And I was like, I really just kind of want to go play more Baldur's Gate 3 though.
He has an
So
addiction.
I went and reinstalled it and then started over.
Because I noticed before we got on Discord, Josh, Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm like, yeah. So you'll have to post in the Discord tonight.
I know.
Hey
and
guys,
say,
the addiction's back.
I'm
I need a
back.
nicotine patch.
Yeah. I don't know. Like there was just so much. I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, there's just so much that I missed on that first playthrough. I kind of want to do it again.
I think ever since I played Breath of the Wild, because that was my first real open world game, when I beat it, I was like, this isn't Zelda. This isn't blah, 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 blah. Like, I liked the game, but I didn't have that feeling, you know? And then I played Skyrim, and I was like, wait a second. Breath of the Wild made me play Skyrim after years of avoiding Skyrim. So I went back to Breath of the Wild, and it was the same thing. I missed so much. And so the second playthrough I did was on the Switch. I spent 200 hours
Yeah.
in that. And that's how I'm starting to feel with Tears of the Kingdom now, which I did spend more time in Tears, but now, kind of like how you are with Baldur's Gate, I'm like, man, I didn't even get the slip resistant armor yet. There were multiple side quests I missed. So I've been kind of having that itch as well, going back to an open world game where
Yeah.
you can just kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah. And Baldur's Gate, I think, takes that to the most extreme it's ever been also. Because it's branching paths, branching story, and there's entire areas that I just never went to. There's characters that I missed in the first playthrough, like main characters, and their interactions with each other that I just never saw.
Is there I mean, this is probably going to be a dumb question, but is there a correct way to play Baldur's Gate 3?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's what Larian has done, honestly, is make the most D&D game possible.
Wow.
I mean, and they account for so many things. It's insane how much they accounted for. Like, you can do a thing in Act 1 that affects something in Act 3 that you never would have ever thought about. Or, you know, somebody, like, there's one of the characters, his name is Will. He's like well, funny enough, he's almost like a Will Turner, like, swordsman kind of
Cool.
dude.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the game, you are you find a bunch of goblins outside of a gate, and you're helping out the people who are behind the gate. Well, Will's one of the guys fighting with you. Well, apparently he died while we were fighting those goblins, and in my first playthrough, and this dude is like a main character, one of them. And it's funny because there's another character that you pick up later that it turns out that dude is hunting her.
Wow.
So that was just a whole interaction that I had never seen before. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what? That's what this dude's after? But there's, I don't know, there's all these major choices that you can make that just affect so much. But there's
Did you play it on
hundreds of
PC,
ways.
correct?
Yeah, but it is the highest rated game on PS5. It beat out
that.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So who do you think's going to get Game of the Year this year?
That's a hard one.
And I mean, we still have Assassin's Creed Mirage coming out, Mario Bros. Wonder. What's another? I thought there was another big game coming out.
Okay, so far this year we have Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield. Yep.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man
That's
2.
already gone gold before it's even came out.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never did play those much. I started the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it was fun, but it didn't interest me enough to play through the whole story.
Kind of have to be a Spider-Man fan to...
Yeah, and I'm not a Spider-Man fan.
I mean, I like Spider-Man, but I'm not...
Yeah.
I have to have a video game of him.
Yeah. But I'm also really burned out on superheroes. Like, really burnt out. I haven't watched anything past Avengers Endgame.
I didn't even watch Endgame. I didn't even watch Civil War, none of that.
Yeah.
I think I got through the first 2 Avengers, and it's nothing against... it's not really a burnout. I just found other things.
The only superhero show I'll still watch is The Boys. But it's like superhero.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's kind of fun.
Resident Evil 4 Remake has gotten several awards as well.
Yeah.
I think more than likely it'll probably be Baldur's Gate or Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like those...
I think Baldur's Gate might take the cake just because it was cross-platform.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people that played Baldur's Gate, but not Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Tears of the Kingdom is fantastic for Zelda, Nintendo fans. Baldur's Gate being on Xbox. Is it on Xbox? I know it's on PS5 and PC.
It's not on Xbox yet.
Okay.
I feel like Baldur's Gate has the Elden Ring effect where people were like, if you never played the other ones, or if you didn't play Divinity, get this one. And a lot of people got it, and some of them really stuck with it. Some were like, oh, this isn't really my thing. Yeah, I'm curious, and I mean, a lot of people really enjoyed Starfield as well.
It's good, but it's a Bethesda game, so it's going to take about a year for it to hit its prime. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's Game of the Year yet.
I don't think yet. I think probably the top. If I had to say the top 3, Baldur's Gate, Tears, and probably Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
A lot of people love the Spider-Man games, and
I don't know that it's enough though. My prediction is it's going to be Baldur's Gate 3. I think it's going to take all the Game of the Year awards this year.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Because it snuck up on everyone. It is universally acclaimed. Mm-hmm. I've only heard one person say that's not their cup of tea.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Final
Final Fantasy 16. We completely forgot about Final Fantasy 16 as well.
Yeah, and that was good. It's not Game of the Year, though.
I don't think, like, me ranking them are, like, games that I would think... I mean, I definitely think Baldur's Gate, yes, will probably get Game of the Year. Mm-hmm. If I had to pick a second contender, it'd be Tears of the Kingdom. But I think a lot of these other games are going to get a lot of the other awards, though. For example, Final Fantasy 16's combat and cinematics were beautiful.
As always.
So as always. So
Yeah.
it would probably get that tier. I would say like last minute awards, best family game, Super Mario Wonder, whatever would probably get that. What do you think Tears of the Kingdom would win?
I don't know. Best new mechanic in a game.
Yeah,
The whole building system is so much fun.
it's crazy. I didn't think I was that creative of a person. So now it inspired me a little bit more to be like, I can actually do something in Minecraft now.
Nice.
But yeah, lots of great games this year. Still more to come.
This really has been a good year for games.
It's been a really good year. I kind of started to say this last year, but this is the first year where, or actually no, I said it this year when we started the channel. This is the first time that I think I've actually wanted to have all three systems.
Mm-hmm.
So Xbox 4.
Yeah.
And at the time it was Halo Infinite, but
Yeah. And having the gaming PC that I effectively do have all three because I have Xbox on there. So yeah, it's been nice. I jump back and forth between all three all the time.
yeah. So you've
Or
been
sort of
playing
all four
Yeah.
because PC games too.
So you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3. Anything else?
Payday 3.
Payday 3.
I played some. I saw it on Game Pass. It's like some weird potion shop game. That was a pretty fun little casual thing.
Yeah.
You mix potions and sell them to people, but it has this old manuscript art style, and
cool.
you have a map, and all of your herbs and minerals, all of your ingredients, have different shapes that move your bottle on this map, right? So there are all these like crazy squiggly lines, but they go different directions, and you have to combine these ingredients to move your bottle, whatever that shape is on the map. You have to avoid these little skull areas that'll make you start over. But you effectively have to get your bottle to just the right spot on the map onto like a certain icon to create a new potion.
That's cool.
So really, really unique idea. And there's like an alchemy machine you start to fix. You interact with customers and traders and stuff that walk by. It's a fun.
So you make a red potion for health, green potion for magic.
It's more like air, earth, water, and fire are like the four main elements.
What's the name of the game? Do you know?
I think it's called Potion Shop.
Okay.
Or something like that. It's on Game Pass. You'll see it. And then I'm trying to think if I played a little bit more of Sea of Stars, Minecraft as usual. My son downloaded. Do you know who Crafty is?
Mm-mm.
He's like a YouTuber that a lot of kids watch. But he has these maps that people have developed for him. But they're on the Minecraft marketplace, but they're actually pretty cool. We played one where Crafty has his specific character. He's like all blue and he's got a C on his torso or whatever. But you start off in his house and he's just a head bouncing around. He's like, the Ender Dragon stole all my body parts. You got to find him. But it's a fully like modeled world, that like little map that he has made or his team has made. And you have to go to the mines and get his arm, go to this really cool castle. And
so it's actually a kind of a story mode for Minecraft.
But it's voice acted, lots of custom assets. Really well done map.
I need to look more into stuff like that because don't get me wrong, I love Minecraft and just going and exploring and building, but I really enjoyed Minecraft Dungeons. That was a really, really fun game because I'm a big Diablo player and I really enjoyed it. And me and my wife actually completed that game through and through.
Nice.
But I got to thinking, I know Minecraft does have some story games, but that would be so cool if you actually had just a Steve, like you're Steve. Here's the level, and
that was there was I think one that was like that. But honestly, some of my favorite modes to play, especially with the kids. Well, sometimes with the kids, they can turn it into chaos. But there's one block. Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
So you're literally the only thing on the map is one block. You're just up in the air. That's it. That's all there is.
You told me about
Yeah.
this.
And you break the block, and then it gives you things like dirt or wood or whatever. And you slowly kind of build out your little world from that one block.
But if you fall off the thing, that's it, right?
If you don't have cheats turned on, yeah, you lose all your stuff and you appear back up on top. Usually playing with the kids, I turn on keep inventory. Mm-hmm. But that one, there is a skyblock where you start off on a tiny little island that has a chest that gives you just enough to make like a cobblestone generator and like seeds. You have like one tree, a water bucket, a lava bucket, and you expand from there. And some of them, there's little islands that you can build out to once you've mined enough blocks. That one's fun. There's one called Minecraft, but the world expands. And there's this ring, it's like a square that you can't leave. You try to, and it like rubber bands you back in. And you have to it has a list of achievements, which is pretty standard, but it's things like make a wooden axe, and then make a stone pickaxe, and make an iron sword, and anyways, all this stuff. But every time you get an achievement, the world gets a little bit bigger. That's kind of a cool one.
That is cool. We'll have to do some Minecraft gameplay.
Yeah. It's just a fun way to kind of mix it up.
Yeah. I haven't been playing too much. I did, however, though, I watched all of the new Castlevania series, Castlevania Nocturne. Phenomenal. So good. I enjoyed it a lot better than the first season.
How much of the lore do you have to know to watch it?
Not much.
None?
Yeah. Okay. For me, it's really cool because I grew up with these video game characters.
Yeah.
And stuff. I mean, it does help to know some, but at the end of the day, if you just want to watch a cool vampire hunting, whip people to death show, that's your show.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Speaking of video game adapted shows, The Witcher has really made me sad. I finally got around to trying to watch this latest season. Man, they destroyed the source material. The first season was really convoluted, but so good, especially all the fight scenes. But
yeah, I didn't catch on to The Witcher. I played quite a bit of Witcher 3, and I think I watched like the first 2 episodes of it, but that's a bummer to hear.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes was honestly some of my favorite, like dark fantasy TV. That first sword fight,
it's pretty sweet.
So good, yeah.
Devil May Cry finally got a trailer for the new anime, and it's made by the same artist who did the Castlevania series, so that's gonna be cool. But yeah, no, I enjoyed every second of it. I'm actually gonna watch all of them again, but I am playing the Castlevania Advanced Collection again because I just love those games, and it's just a good show. Maybe want to go back into that world and play that. And that's really it. That's all right. That's all I've kind of been playing.
It was funny. I was telling my wife, what we were doing, last week's episode about spooky games. And she was like, oh, you have to talk about, what's that one we played where you have to make a bunch of choices? And I was like, Until Dawn. She's like, yeah, you have to talk about that one. I was like, we already did.
Yeah. Speaking of spooky games. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna?
No, she was like, we need to play that again. So I think that's probably coming this week.
Okay, cool.
I think it's on PlayStation Plus.
I think it is. Yeah. Cause I signed up for a month cause I wanted to play a couple games.
You and your wife should definitely sit down and do that one.
I did see that Limbo is on the Switch.
Nice.
Is that one you recommended? That one's on Switch. I've been playing Slender the Arrival again. I
The
love
remake,
that
the
game.
remake of the OG.
Which I did play the OG. I did play that. I think I told you the story of that one. Did you see that it is actually getting kind of a visual remake upgrade for PS5?
No, I didn't.
It looks really good.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, but I forgot how creepy that game is, honestly. Like at the beginning when you get that key and you go into, is it Kate's room or Lauren's or one of the girls' rooms, and you just see the drawings of Slender Man everywhere, and you grab like a document and you just hear a screaming downstairs of the house. I almost got to the 8th page and then he caught me.
I almost did I saw that Outlast was on Game Pass. And I almost did a video for the channel of Outlast just to see
Game's
all these years
terrifying.
later, can I handle it now? The answer is probably no, because I'm a huge coward, but
Yeah, my good friend came up Saturday and we were talking and he's like, I've never seen Slender or heard of Slender. And I said, oh, buddy. And I blacked out all the house and I turned the volume all the way up and we played probably 2 hours of it. And
how'd he handle it?
he got creeped out. He's a tough dude, but the minute he heard that scream after I got the key or got that note, he was like, oh, hell no. And there were parts that I forgot about. Like, I don't know. Did you play The Arrival?
I did.
The Arrival?
Yep.
There's
I didn't play much of that one.
Minor spoilers, but did you at least get to where you have to collect the 8 pages? So
Yes.
basically kind of the first full
Right.
level.
Yeah, I got there.
Well, I don't know if you remember when you're kind of finding those news documents about what happened after you get out of the house that's for sale. There's like a barn that has another note in it, and there's just this one ghost creature crying in the corner, and you have to go up to it, and it'll like jolt your camera and make it staticky, and I love it though. It's scary, but it's not. I think it's because it's not super realistic
Yeah.
looking, And I love that graphic style because it kind of has that Half-Life 2 bulky 3D animation, dark rooms, kind of that PC style,
Yeah.
old school.
I'm gonna have to play that one again. It's been so long.
$10
There was that-
on the eShop.
There was that whole Slender craze, and then they made a movie that
I
flopped.
had no idea they made a movie.
Yeah, there's a movie. Complete flop. I never saw it, but apparently it was terrible.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Although I do want to try the Five Nights at Freddy's. I've never tried it. Never
It's
played it.
I mean, it's pretty fun. The first one at least is because you can turn on kind of an easy mode for it. So playing it with my 6-year-old, because he's starting to get into where he likes some more scary elements and things. Easy to play with him. Very simple concept, and it's keep the doors closed, don't let the power run down, keep an eye on where the characters are.
Oh, wait. No, I did play that. Well, my aunt had it on mobile at the time. I haven't played any of the other ones, but I did forget it was a camera watching.
Yeah. At least the first one. That's the only one that I've played. But I'm trying to figure out and look at some reviews because my 6-year-old is really excited to see the movie, but it's rated PG-13 and I don't know if he's going to be able to handle it.
Yeah. Did you play Bindi and the Ink Machine?
I did.
That's a good one. I love that. And there is a new one, Bindi and the Dark Revival or something. On
That sounds right.
It's a little bit more BioShock style, but I've been kind of wanting to replay the first Bindi.
Yeah.
game.
There's so much I want to do in October. Not enough days.
Yeah. Not enough, but so many spooky games for sure.
So many.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps up this episode. Be sure to check us out every Monday for some gameplay and every Thursday for an episode. And without further ado, we will catch you anxious gamers later.
And remember, it's dangerous to game alone.